Hello, today I'm going to show you how to draft a Reglan sleeve. So welcome to Meg the Next Stitches YouTube channel. My name is Meg, your favorite fashion tutor. If you have not subscribed to this channel, you want to do so right away and click on the notification bell so that each time I upload a new video, you will be the first person to know. So let's get started on how to draft a Reglan sleeve. So the first thing you want to do is to get your bodies ready. Any type of bodies, please. It's just a simpler form, the simplest form of our basic bodies. So you want to get your own bodies ready like this to this point. And the next thing you want to do is, of course, we are going to be marking our neck circumference. So in this case, I'm going to be using a neck circumference of 3 inches by 4 inches. Okay, so the width of my neck would be 3 inches. So from this point here, from this point, I'll be marking 3 inches as the width of my neck. Okay, then the depth of my neck, I want it to be 4 inches. Mind you, this is the front block, so we are working on the front block first before moving to the back block. So I will just be connecting these points together. So you can use your free hand. You can also use your curve. Okay, so I'll just be using my free hand to mark my neckline. Okay, so this is my neckline here. You want to make yours. Okay, so we have 3 by 4 inches as our neck circumference or our neck dimension. So the next thing you want to do is to from this neckline, you want to measure the width of the Reglan sleeve. Okay, how much of it do you want to come towards the neckline? So in this case, I'm going to be doing 2.5 inches. You can do you can make yours to be less than that or more than that. So from this point here, I would measure 2.5 inches. So you want to do like a curve. Okay, so I have my 2.5 inches along this line here. Okay, so I have my 2.5 inches at this point. From this point to this point is 2.5 inches. So right now I'm going to be connecting these points. I'll be making a slant line from this point, touching this point here, my armhole, then going towards the side. This is the side of this block. Okay, so from this one point, touching somewhere along this armhole here, then towards the side. So let's just do that. So you want to just place your ruler and make sure it touches all 3 points that are already mentioned. Okay, so let me just do it this way so that we can see it clearly. So you want to just place your ruler and make sure that it touches. Okay, so I think I'll bring it back this way so I can be in control. Okay, so I'm just placing my ruler, making sure that it touches the points I want it to touch. Okay, so once you have that, you can now make like a slant line. Okay, so I have it this way. So you can see my slant line from this point touching somewhere along the armhole here, then going towards the side of the block. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to mark mark an angle. We're going to be marking an angle shape here. Okay, because why do we need that angle shape? Because we want to this curve here, we want to bring it down here also. We want to bring this curve here, we want to bring it down here. So to do that, just pick up your ruler, this part of the ruler that has like a 90-degree angle here. This sharp point is what we are going to be using. So just place it like so, along parallel to this line. So you place your rule parallel to this line, and this is our guide. This midpoint here is our guide. Okay, this midpoint here is our guide. You can see my mark. This sharp point here is our guide. So you want to just place your ruler parallel to this line here, and this right angle here is where you're going to be marking on. Okay, so just observe what I'm going to be doing. So I've placed my rule as you can see, and I'm going to be making a mark, a line here. Okay, so you saw what I did. I just made a mark on this straight path. So what we have here now is this slant mark here that was made with this part of the ruler that has the 90-degree shape. Okay, so parallel to the first line we made. So once you have made this, okay, once you have drawn out this line, you want to measure from here. You want to measure from this point here to this point here. Whatever it is you have, you want to mark it downward here. So I'll do that now. So from this point, okay, from this point to this point, I have more than just a marking after half inch. Okay, I have a mark, just one mark after half inch. So I'll be bringing it down to this line also. So we have it here. Okay, so we have this mark here. So from this point, this sharp point here to this point here, we have just one mark after half an inch. So I measured from this down point, this point here to this point, exactly what we have here. I brought it down here. So now we can create the curve. We can create this curve from this point here, where this slant line touches. From this point to this point, we want to return the curve towards this down part. Okay. So in creating the curve, you want to pick up your curve, okay, and just make a curve from this point here, touching this point, where this our blue line meets up with the red. So you want to make a curve from this point, touching this point here. Hope that is clear. So you just pick up your curve and you want to just position it properly. Okay, making sure it touches the 2 points I already highlighted. So right now we'll just be making the curved, making the curve shape. Okay, so what we have done now is that we have succeeded in bringing this curve here, we have succeeded in bringing it downward also. Okay, as you can see. So if you don't get it now, when we are doing for the back block, you're going to understand it better. So now we have created, by the time, if you measure from here, if you measure from this point to this point, and from this point to this point, you would notice that you have the same value. So from this point to this point, and from this point to this point should equals to each other. So the next thing we're going to do is to extend this our shoulder line. We're going to be marking the length of our Reglan sleeve. So you can have a long sleeve, you can have a short sleeve. So in this case, I'm going to be measuring 8 inches. So from this point here, from this point, okay, from this point, I'm going to be marking 8 inches as the length of my Reglan sleeve. So I'll be making a point at that 8 inches, okay, and with my rule, I will just make a slant line. Okay, I'll make a slant line. All right, so here we have the extension of 8 inches from this point. Now after that, I'll be making a line here also, and this line here is, this is a short sleeve, so it's going to be my bicep, half of my bicep. So let's assume that I want to use, you have to measure around your bicep. So in this case, we are going to be using 6.5, which means our bicep is 12 inches. So 12 inches divided by 2 is 6.5. So I'll be marking I'll be placing you bring back your straight ruler and you want to place it in form of a, all right, so in getting half of your bicep, you want to also place your ruler at an angle of 90, angle 90. So this point here, this sharp point here, this L shape here, you place it parallel to this line and you want to mark. So we said in this case, we are marking at 6.5. So I'll be making a mark at 6.5. Okay, so I have my mark there at 6.5. So you might want to confirm what you have. So I have it at 6.5 like so. So we have marked that line. So right now we're going to be connecting this point here. We'll connect this point to this point here. Okay, so you can decide to make it curve. You can make this point to be curvy, or you can use it, you can make it straight. So let's assume I want to make it curvy. I want to allow it to have a curvy, like a curved shape. So I'm going to be using this curved part of this to make the line. So it won't be completely straight. So yours can be straight, yours can be more curvy than this. Okay, so it really depends on what you want. So it can be, so I'm connecting this point here to this point. So we have it like so. So it's not completely straight. You can see it has a curved effect. So this is how to achieve the Reglan sleeve. So let's before we cut out, let's also repeat this same process on the back block. So here's the back block. So we're going to draw out our neck circumference. For the front, we use the width to be 3 inches. So you want to use the same width. Okay, you want to use the same width as your front. So here is my 3 inches mark. Okay, then the depth for the back, we are going to be making use of 1 inch. Okay, the back would be 1 inch. So I'll just connect the points together like so. So we have it like this. You might want to use your curve to get a perfect shape. So here we have it. So right now we are going to be marking a line along the neck, along the neck shape, the round neck shaping. We'll be marking a point there. So I'm going to, for the front we use 2.5, but for the back, since the back is not as deep as the front, I'll be using just 1 inch. So I'll mark at 1 inch. So this is my 1 inch point here. Okay, so from this 1 inch, I would have to connect to somewhere along my armhole here, then touching the side of this block. So here we are. So I've positioned my ruler touching the 1 inch. It will go across this my armhole shape, then towards the side. Okay, so we'll just be making the mark now. Okay, so we have it like so. The next thing we're going to do is to create that angle shape we created earlier. And how to go about that is simple. So we'll just be, this is our guide. Don't forget that this point here, I'm just making a mark there. So you will see this point here, this angle here is the guide. This angle here, this sharp angle here is the guide, just like we did for the front block. So the next thing is you want to place your ruler parallel to this line. Okay, making sure that the angle area is towards the part you want to rule a line. So make sure it is parallel. So I have it this way, and I'll be making a mark. Okay, so I have my ruler placed this way. So you want to make a mark at this line here, just a straight mark. Okay, so I have it going down this way. Make sure that, okay, so I have the line going down this way. Now I'll measure what I have here. From this angle point to this point, you want to measure what you have. Okay, from this angle point here to this point here, you want to measure what you have. And here we have just 1 point after half an inch. So we have 1 point after half an inch. So I'll be making that same point. I'll be making the same point here. So we have it at this point here. Okay, so what we have here now, from the distance between this point to this point is the same distance between this point and this point. So you might want to just confirm. Okay, so we have it here like so. So I'm going to be making my curve here to touch this point here. So from this point to this point, I'll make a curve just like we did for the front. Okay, so from this point now to this point where this our blue line touches the red, we'll make a curve. You want to just pick up your curve and you want to place it. So I have to bring it closer for us to see. So from this point here, the distance between here and here is the same as the distance between here and here. So from this point, I'm going to make a curve to touch this point here where my blue line intersects with the red line. Okay, so just place your curve until you have what you until you get you have what you want. And here is it. Okay, so I'll just be making a curve at that point like so. Okay, so here we have our curve. By the time you measure from this point to this point, you will have the same thing as from this point to this point. So now that we have done that, let us extend our shoulder. Okay, and for the front we used 8. For the back we are also going to be using 8. So from this point here, from this point you want to make a point at 8 inches. Remember that it can be longer than 8. Okay, you can have it, you can have it as a long sleeve. Okay, you can have it as a long sleeve. So I will just be marking the points. Okay, so my 8 inches stops here. Okay, so from this point to this point is 8 inches, and we said that our bicep for this round sleeve here, our bicep we're going to be using is 13, so we use 6.5. So in this case too, I want to make a mark at 6.5. Okay, but then you're going to use the right angle part to get the 6.5. So place your rule parallel to this top line here, and you want to make a mark till you get to 6.5. So I have my mark going this way. So I'll just measure to confirm that I have the 6.5 that I need. Okay. If it's not up to, I'll just extend. So I'm just going to extend the line like so. So here's my 6.5. So from this point here to this point here is 6.5. Then we can connect back to this point. And for the front, we used a curve. So you might want to use, of course, you want to, for the back also, you want to make it curvy, not, you don't want it to be straight. Okay, so what I'm doing is this. So I'll just connect with a curve like so. So here we have our Reglan sleeve for the back. Okay, and of course for this my shoulder slant, I want to adjust it. Since my neckline stopped here, I want to adjust my shoulder slant to also get to where the neckline started from. So we have it going this way, and I'll repeat the same thing for the front. Okay, you can see I readjusted my shoulder slant to start from where the neck width started from. So before cutting out, you want to trace out the sleeve. So I pick up another pattern. Okay, another pattern. So I'll place it underneath this so that I can trace out my sleeve. We'll be tracing out only the sleeve, the Reglan sleeve, onto the other pattern. So you want to use your tracing wheel. Okay, so I'm going to use my tracing wheel, and for the sleeve, please pay attention to how I am going to be tracing it out. Okay, I'll trace out, just follow the marking for the sleeve from this slant line here to this point, then this point. Okay, and of course you continue like this to this point. Okay, then you take it this way to this point. Then of course this little neckline here, you shape it alongside for the sleeve. Okay, so we're going to be doing that. So I'll be using my tracing wheel. If you have a tracing wheel, you should have a tracing wheel. Okay, so I'll do that right away, just like I have shown it to us. All right, so let's trace out the sleeve. This is still for the back. So with my tracing wheel, I will just be following the mark. Okay, the sleeve mark. Okay, you want to take it along the side also. Okay, like I already showed to us. So just trace along this part to the neckline, then finish up the tracing like so. Trace out every other part of the sleeve. The the neckline area, it is this smaller part you want to trace into the other block or into the other pattern, not the entire neckline, please. Just this small part you want to trace on it and just take it down like so. So by the time I lift it up, I can see the faint dots marking. So I'll just use my marker to make it more visible. So here is the back Reglan sleeve. So you want to also trace out for the front. So on this same pattern, I'll be tracing out for the front. So you can see I just bent my, okay, so I'll just bring it this way. Okay, I'll use this other part of my pattern. Here is the back, and you want to of course write on it so that you will not mix them up. So for the front, I'll just place it down this way and also trace out for the front just like we did for the back. So here we have the sleeve for the front traced out, and same goes for the back traced out. So right now I'll just we'll be cutting out. So watch the way I'm going to cut out, okay? So this is the front block. So I'm just cutting from the down part. Okay, so I will just watch the way I'm going to be cutting. This is the neck area. So I'm just going to be cutting. Okay. But I'm stopping here. Okay, so I'll just fold this away. Okay, then continue the cutting from this point. From this point, then I'll go into the armhole, the red line. Okay, you can see what I'm doing. You can see that. So I'm cutting out just the body and not the sleeve because we traced out the sleeve already. So towards the side now, I'll just cut the side. So we have our front looking this way. Okay, we have the front looking this way. Okay, so now we're going to cut out the back also. So in cutting the back, you want to repeat the same thing. You cut along the neck. Okay, so you continue your cutting from this point here into the armhole, the red mark. Then towards the side, of course, I'll just start from this down part. So I've cut out the back also. So now let's trace out our sleeve. Okay, so just trace out what we have on this block. So here we have it. So you can trace the sleeve and the body on different fabrics because that will bring out the style more. You can use the same fabric. Okay, so you want to add half an inch to this point, to the sleeve area, half an inch, to the body, half an inch, so that you can use in joining together. And of course you add your every other allowances if you have not already done that on the pattern. So by the time we join it from this neckline, you can see by the time you join it now towards this down part that has the curve, of course you should know how to sew your curve. You're going to, by the time you push it in, okay, it's going to match up. It's going to match up along this down part. Same goes for the back. Okay, so this is the neck region. By the time you get to this point, you bring them together so like a curve. So this part is going to match up. So guys, this is how to go about the Reglan sleeve. There are different inspirations. You can check on Pinterest, you can check on Google. So I hope you learned something. Feel free to drop your questions. Feel free to drop your questions if you have any. And don't forget to like this video, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next class.